After last week's episode, I had a lot of cucumber yogurt sauce left over and I decided I want to repurpose it for another dish instead of wasting it because I do like the sauce. It's nice and refreshing. So I'm going to add in some feta cheese because feta cheese is awesome. And I love the one especially in the brine because it brings that extra level of tartness and saltiness. And I crumple in a lot of feta cheese, like almost a third of that block. And just crumple in, you don't need to break it out completely. You want little chunks in there anyway. It gives a nice surprise when you bite it. So it's a nice surprise basically. And I make my patty. Any other burger patty, the recipe very similar, some seasoning into it. And then I mix it in all very nicely as well as I can. And I shape mine into a really long shape because that's the bread I happen to have sitting around. And I want to give it a nice hard sear, a very hot pan. I'm using a cast iron pan. I push it down to get it really to stick to that pan and get that sear in. Now I flip it over and I push it down and do the same thing. I happen to have this ciabatta bread, which is nice and long, which is why my patty is nice and long. If I had a round bread, I would have shaped round patties. I don't want a round patty on the long bread because then on the ends have no meat to go with it. So I butter it up. I'm gonna actually cook it in the same pan that I used to cook the patty in because I want the flavoring from that patty to be absorbed by the bread as well. And I'm toasting it that way, kind of almost like how you would do a grilled cheese because it gives a nice crispy, flavorful texture to it. And I like mine with a little bit of my burgers with a little bit of vegetable. So I'm adding some butter lettuce and tomato because I also had that left over from the last episode. So, once you finish cooking your meat to the desired temperature, you finish stirring up the bread. And now that the bread is nice and toasted, season it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then time to assemble. I like to go bread, and then I like to put in the lettuce to kind of act as a moisture barrier to prevent the bottom piece from bread from getting all soggy and things like that. And then I top it off generously with that feta sauce that we made earlier. As you can see, there's a lot of it. But if you like this episode, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy!